The big spaceship floated silently among the stars. Inside, 3 aliens walked around a glass tank filled with blue water. A human woman slept inside the tank, floating peacefully. Her long black hair moved gently in the water. Jin, the lead alien scientist, checked the screen showing her vital signs. "The human female is healthy," he said to his team. His skin was pale gray, and his eyes were large and dark. He wore a simple white coat that showed his high rank. Min and Sue stood nearby, watching the tank with great interest. They had studied humans for many years, but this woman was special. She was their last test subject. "Will she help us solve our problem?" Sue asked. Her voice was soft but worried. Jin touched the glass tank gently. "She must. Our people are dying out. We have forgotten how to feel. Without emotions, we have lost the will to live and have children." The 3 aliens belonged to a race called the Vorn. Long ago, they had decided emotions were messy and unnecessary. They removed feelings from their society and focused only on logic and science. This helped them build amazing technology and explore the stars. But now, after thousands of years, their population was shrinking. Few Vorn wanted to have families anymore. Something important was missing from their lives. "Humans are different," Min said. "They feel everything so strongly. Love, hate, fear, joy. They experience it all. Maybe they can teach us what we've lost." Jin nodded. "That's why we chose her." Her brain scans showed unusual emotional depth, even for a human. The woman in the tank suddenly moved. Her fingers twitched and her eyelids fluttered. The blue water began to drain away. "She's waking up," Jin said. The 3 aliens stepped back, giving her space. As the water disappeared, the glass tank opened. The woman sat up slowly, water dripping from her hair and clothes. She looked around, taking in the strange room, and the 3 gray-skinned beings watching her. Most humans would scream or panic, but she didn't. She studied them with curious eyes. "Where am I?" she asked. Her voice was calm and clear. Jin stepped forward. "You are on our research vessel. I am Jin, chief scientist. These are my colleagues, Min and Sue." The woman nodded as if this made perfect sense. "My name is Haru," she said. "Why did you bring me here?" Jin felt something strange happen inside him as he looked at her. A tiny feeling he couldn't name stirred in his chest. It had been so long since any Vorn had felt anything that he didn't recognize it. "We need your help," Jin told her honestly. "Our civilization is dying because we cannot feel emotions anymore. We brought you here to study human feelings. You are our final experiment." Haru looked at each alien carefully. Then she did something unexpected. She smiled. "Emotions aren't something you study in a lab," she said. "They're something you experience." She stood up and walked toward them, not showing any fear. "If you want to learn about feelings, you'll have to do more than just watch me. You'll have to learn to feel again yourselves." Jin didn't understand why, but his heart beat faster when she came near. Behind him, Min and Sue seemed equally affected by her presence. What they didn't realize was that Haru would change everything for their dying race. She wasn't just their final experiment. Soon, she would become much more. 3 days had passed since Haru woke up on the alien ship. The Vorn gave her a room that looked almost like a human bedroom, but everything was slightly wrong. The bed was too hard, the chair too tall, and the lights too bright. Still, Haru made it work. Jin came to her room every morning to check on her. Today, he found her drawing on a tablet they had given her. "What are you making?" Jin asked, looking over her shoulder. Haru showed him her drawing of a sunset over mountains. "This is from my home. I miss seeing the sun." Jin frowned slightly. "Miss? This means you feel sadness because something is gone." "Yes," Haru said. "Don't you ever miss things?" Jin shook his head. "The Vorn do not miss. We observe absence, but we do not feel pain from it." Haru put down her tablet. "That sounds lonely." Lonely is another feeling we do not have, Jin said, but his voice sounded less certain. Haru stood up and faced him. Today, I want to try something different. Instead of you studying me, I want to teach you. Jin blinked his large dark eyes. Teach me what? How to feel again, Haru said simply. Let's start with something basic. Happiness. Jin called Min and Su to join them. Soon, all four sat in a circle on the floor of Haru's room. Close your eyes, Haru instructed. The three Vorn did as she said. Now think about something good that happened to you, any small thing that went well. The aliens sat silently for a long time. Finally, Su spoke. Yesterday I solved a difficult equation. The solution was elegant. Good, Haru said. Focus on that moment. When you found the answer, did anything happen in your body? Did your heart beat faster? Did you want to tell someone? Su thought hard. Yes. My pulse increased by 6%, and I immediately went to find Min to share my discovery. Haru smiled. That was happiness, Su. A small version of it, but real happiness. Min opened her eyes. But that is just biological response to success. It helps us survive. Feelings start in the body, Haru explained. They're not separate from survival. They're part of it. Your people didn't lose emotions completely. You just stopped noticing them. Jin had been quiet, his eyes still closed. Now he spoke. When I saw your drawing, something happened. I wanted to see the real sunset you drew. I wanted to know if the colors in the sky really look like that. That's curiosity mixed with wonder, Haru said softly. Both are emotions. Jin opened his eyes and looked at her with new awareness. I have been studying humans for 20 years, but I never understood feelings until now. That afternoon, Haru asked to see more of the ship. Jin took her to the observation deck, where huge windows showed the stars outside. Haru pressed her hands against the glass, her eyes wide. It's beautiful, she whispered. Jin stood beside her. Yes, efficient design. Haru laughed. Not the ship, the stars, the endless space. Don't you feel small looking at it? Don't you feel wonder? Jin looked out at the stars, trying to see them through her eyes. Slowly, a strange feeling grew in his chest. It was like his heart was expanding. I think I do feel something, he said quietly. Neither noticed Min watching them from the doorway. She turned and walked quickly to the ship's main control room, where other Vorn were working. The human is changing, Jin, Min reported to the ship's captain. He is developing emotional responses. The captain's face remained blank. Is this not the purpose of our experiment? Yes, Min said. But I did not expect it to happen so quickly, and I did not expect. She paused. What did you not expect? The captain asked. Min looked troubled. I did not expect Jin to look at the human the way he did just now. It was not a scientific look. It was something else. The captain stood up. Perhaps we should end this experiment before it goes too far. Back on the observation deck, Jin was showing Haru the constellations visible from the ship. For the first time in his long life, he felt truly alive. And for the first time, he was afraid of losing something precious. The next morning, Haru woke to find Su waiting in her room instead of Jin. Where is Jin? Haru asked, sitting up in bed. The captain has assigned Jin to other duties, Su said. Her face was blank, but her fingers tapped nervously against her leg. I will be your primary contact now. Haru frowned. Is Jin okay? He is being evaluated, Su said carefully. The captain is concerned about changes in his behavior. Haru got up and paced the room. So they're punishing him for feeling emotions. That's exactly what your people need. Some Vorn fear emotions, Su explained. They believe feelings will make us weak and unpredictable, like humans used to be before they learned to control their emotions better. But without emotions, your people are dying, Haru argued. Su nodded. A growing number of us agree with you. There is now a division among the crew. Some want to continue the experiment. Others want to end it and take you back to Earth. Haru stopped pacing. I need to see Jin. That is not permitted, Su said. Haru looked straight into Su's large dark eyes. Do you feel anything when you think about Jin being punished for what you're learning too? Su was quiet for a moment. Yes, my stomach feels tight. My heart rate increases. I think it is worry, concern for a friend. Then help me, Haru said. After a pause, Su nodded. I will try. That night, when most of the crew was resting, Su returned to Haru's room. Follow me. Be very quiet. They walked through dimly lit hallways, taking side passages when they heard other Vorn approaching. Finally, they reached a door with a control panel. Su placed her hand on it, and the door slid open. Jin sat inside a plane room. He looked up, surprised to see them. You should not be here, he said, but his eyes showed happiness. Haru rushed to him. Are you okay? What happened? The captain wants to end the experiment, Jin explained. He believes I am becoming too emotionally attached to you, which will compromise my scientific judgment. Is he right? Haru asked softly. Jin looked down at his hands. Yes, I feel things when I am with you. Things I never felt before. It scares me, but I do not want it to stop. Su stood by the door, watching nervously. We must hurry. Min is coming with a plan. Just then, the door opened again, and Min entered. She looked at the three of them and nodded. The ship is divided, Min reported. Half the crew believes we should continue learning about emotions. The other half fears change. She handed Haru a small device. Keep this with you. If we need to find you, it will help us. What's happening? Haru asked. The captain has ordered the ship to return to Earth, Min explained. He wants to end the experiment. But many of us disagree. We are planning to. An alarm suddenly blared through the ship. Red lights flashed in the hallway. They know you're gone, Su said to Haru. And they've discovered our communication with other crew members. Min straightened her back. The time for hiding is over. We must confront the captain directly. Jin stood up. That would start a conflict. Vorn have not fought each other in over 1,000 years. We're not going to fight, Haru said firmly. We're going to show them what they're afraid of isn't scary at all. She looked at each of the three Vorn. Emotions don't make you weak. They give you strength. They help you connect. They give you reasons to live. Jin reached out slowly and took Haru's hand. It was the first time he had initiated physical contact. I believe you, he said, and I am ready to face the captain. As they stepped into the hallway, other Vorn were gathering. Some wore the same worried expression that Jin, Min, and Su had learned to show. Others remained blank-faced and cold. The ship hummed with tension as two sides faced each other, those who wanted to feel and those who feared feeling. Between them stood a human woman who was no longer just an experiment, but a catalyst for revolution. The ship's main control room was large and round. The captain stood in the center, surrounded by his loyal crew. He watched as Jin, Haru, Min, and Su entered, followed by many other Vorn who supported them. What is the meaning of this? The captain demanded. His voice was calm, but his eyes moved quickly from face to face. Jin stepped forward. Captain, we ask you not to end our experiment with the human. The experiment is changing you in ways we did not expect. The captain replied. You are becoming emotional, unpredictable. Yes, we are, Jin admitted, and it is exactly what our people need. The captain shook his head. For thousands of years, we have lived by logic alone. It has kept us safe. It has helped us build great things. But now we're dying, Min said. She moved to stand beside Jin. Each year, fewer Vorn children are born. Our people have no desire to continue. We have lost our purpose. Haru watched this exchange carefully. She understood now that the Vorn had not completely lost their emotions. They had just buried them so deeply that they could no longer recognize them. Captain, Haru said, stepping forward. May I speak? The captain studied her with cold eyes but nodded. Your people aren't truly emotionless, Haru began. You feel pride in your achievements. You feel satisfaction in solving problems. You feel curiosity about the universe. These are all emotions, just quiet ones. Some of the Vorn looked at each other, considering her words. What you fear, Haru continued, are the stronger feelings. Love, anger, sadness, joy. You think these will make you weak and chaotic like humans were in their early history. That is correct, the captain said. Emotions led to wars, to suffering. But they also led to art, to music, to deep connections between people, Haru countered. Your civilization has become like a beautiful machine. Perfect but cold. Without the spark of feeling, it's slowly winding down. Jin moved closer to Haru. Captain, I have felt things these past days that I cannot explain. But I know they are making me more alive, not less. The captain's face remained blank. Show me, he challenged. Show me one good thing that has come from these new emotions. Haru thought for a moment. Then she turned to Jin. Do you remember the music I taught you yesterday? Jin nodded. He had been fascinated by the simple songs Haru had shared. Would you play it? She asked. Jin hesitated, then walked to a control panel. He touched a few buttons, and soon soft music filled the control room. It was a simple human melody that Jin had recorded. I added something to it, Jin said quietly. He touched another button, and a new sound joined the melody. It was Jin's own creation. Notes that complemented the human music, but were distinctly different. The Vorn in the room listened silently. Even those who had supported the captain seemed affected by the music. Some closed their eyes. Others swayed slightly. When the music ended, the room was completely quiet. That, Haru said to the captain, came from emotion. Jin heard my music and felt something. Then he created something new from that feeling. The captain stared at Jin. You made this, not by mathematical formula, but by feeling. Yes, Jin admitted. I cannot explain how. I just knew which sounds belonged together. An older Vorn stepped forward from the captain's group. She was a respected elder named Rin. I remember music, Rin said softly. From long ago, before we decided emotions were dangerous, we used to create songs together. Other older Vorn nodded, memories stirring in them. The captain looked troubled. He turned to his screen and pulled up data. Our birth rates have fallen 78% in the past century. At current rates, our species will be extinct in 10 generations. He looked back at the group, at Jin standing near Haru, at the mix of emotions now visible on many Vorn faces. Perhaps, the captain said slowly, it is time to try a different path. Jin felt a wave of relief wash over him. He recognized this new feeling immediately, hope. But their challenges were far from over. Learning to feel again would not be easy for the Vorn. And for Jin, the strongest emotion of all was just beginning to take shape in his heart as he looked at Haru. 1 week later, the Vorn ship still orbited Earth. The captain had not returned Haru home. Instead, he decided to expand the experiment. Now, many Vorn spent time with Haru, learning about human emotions. Today was different. Jin had asked Haru to join him in a special room she had never seen before. Where are we going? Haru asked as they walked down a long hallway. It is called the memory chamber, Jin explained. It is where we store important memories from our history. They stopped at a large door. Jin placed his hand on a panel, and the door slid open. Inside was a round room with a dome ceiling that looked like the night sky. It's beautiful, Haru said, looking up at the stars. Jin led her to the center of the room. This is not just for beauty. It is a teaching tool. He touched a control panel. I want to show you our past. The stars faded, and new images appeared around them. Haru saw Vorn from long ago. They looked like Jin and the others, but they were different. They smiled. They touched each other. They danced and sang. This was my people over 5,000 years ago, Jin said softly, before we decided emotions were dangerous. Haru watched as the images changed. She saw Vorn fighting wars, hurting each other. What happened? We nearly destroyed ourselves, Jin said. Our emotions led to conflicts, to hatred. The images shifted again, showing Vorn scientists working together. So we found a way to suppress our feelings. We changed our biology and our society. We chose logic over emotion. The final images showed the Vorn as they were now. Peaceful, but cold. Empty. You gave up so much, Haru whispered. Jin nodded. We thought it was necessary for survival. But now we see it was a mistake. Without emotions, we lost our drive to create, to connect, to continue. The images faded, and the stars returned. Jin and Haru stood in silence for a moment. The captain has made a decision, Jin said finally. He wants you to help us find a balance, not to become as emotional as humans, but to recover enough feeling to save our species. Haru smiled. I'd be happy to try, but I can't stay here forever, Jin. I have a life on Earth. Jin's face showed the sadness he was learning to feel. I know, but we need more time. When they left the memory chamber, they found Min waiting for them. Her usually calm face looked worried. There is a problem, Min said. A group of Vorn still oppose the experiment. They believe emotions are too dangerous. What have they done? Jin asked. They have sent a message to our home world, Min explained. They have told the High Council about the changes happening here. The council has ordered us to return immediately. Jin looked alarmed. If we return home now, the council will end everything. They will remove all traces of emotion from us. Haru looked back and forth between them. Can't you just not go back? That would make us outcasts, Min said. No Vorn has disobeyed the council in 2,000 years. Jin was quiet for a moment. Then he straightened his shoulders. Perhaps it is time someone did. Later that day, Jin called a meeting of all crew members in the main hall. The captain stood with him, looking serious but determined. The High Council has ordered us to return, Jin announced. But I believe this is a mistake. What we have learned from Haru is too important to abandon. Murmurs spread through the crowd. Some Vorn nodded in agreement. Others looked uncertain. I propose we continue our mission, Jin continued. We can go to the outer colonies where the council has less control. We can share what we've learned with others who might be open to change. The captain stepped forward. This decision cannot be made by fear or emotion alone. We must choose wisely. He looked around the room. All who wish to continue learning about emotions may stay with this ship. Those who wish to return to our old ways may take the small transport vessel back to our home world. The room grew quiet as every Vorn faced a choice they had never expected to make. Jin looked at Haru, who stood at the side of the room. Their eyes met, and he felt a warm feeling spread through his chest. He now had a word for this feeling: love. Whatever happened next, the Vorn would never be the same, and neither would he. The next day, 23 Vorn chose to leave. They boarded the small transport ship and returned to their home world. The rest of the crew, over 100 Vorn, decided to stay. Jin watched the transport ship disappear into space. They will tell the council everything, he said. We don't have much time. The captain nodded. We must move quickly. Set course for Colony 7. Colony 7 was the furthest Vorn settlement, 3 days' travel from Earth. It was a research station where scientists studied distant stars. The captain hoped they would find allies there. Haru found Jin later in the observation room. He was looking at star maps on a large screen. Are you okay? She asked. Jin turned to her. I am. Nervous. This is a new feeling for me. He pointed at the map. No Vorn has ever disobeyed the council before. We are entering unknown territory. Haru stood beside him. Being the first is scary, but someone has to do it. Jin nodded slowly. Haru, I have been meaning to ask you something. When this is over, will you return to Earth? Haru looked out at the stars. I miss my home, but I also feel like I'm doing something important here. She smiled at him. Besides, I've grown fond of you all. Jin took a deep breath. I have been studying human relationships. I understand that when humans care deeply for each other, they sometimes form pair bonds. Haru's eyes widened. Jin, are you talking about romance? I believe I am experiencing something similar, Jin admitted. When I am with you, I feel more complete. Is that love? Before Haru could answer, an alarm sounded through the ship. Red lights flashed in the hallway. What's happening? Haru asked. Jin rushed to a control panel. We're being followed. A Vorn enforcement vessel. They hurried to the bridge. The captain was already there, with Min and Sue looking at the large screen. They're gaining on us, Min reported. They will catch us before we reach Colony 7. The captain's face was grim. The council must have sent them immediately after receiving the message. They want to stop us at any cost. What can they do? Haru asked. They can force us to return, Sue explained. Or worse, they can use the reset device. Reset device. Haru looked confused. Jin's face showed fear, a new emotion he was still getting used to. It's a technology that can reset Vorn brains to their basic programming. It would erase all the emotional progress we've made. The captain turned to his crew. We have two options. We can surrender, or we can try to outrun them. Can we fight? Asked one young Vorn. The captain shook his head. Vorn do not harm other Vorn. That is one rule we must not break, even now. Haru thought hard. Wait, you said the reset device affects Vorn brains. What about human brains? Everyone turned to look at her. The device is calibrated for Vorn biology, Jin said slowly. It would have no effect on you. Haru's eyes lit up. Then I have an idea. Hours later, as the enforcement vessel came within range, they put Haru's plan into action. The captain opened a communication channel with the enforcement ship. This is Captain Tech of Research Vessel Horizon, he said formally. Why are you pursuing us? A stern face appeared on the screen. This is Commander Lox of the High Council Enforcement. You have disobeyed direct orders. You will return to Vorn Prime immediately for reset procedures. We are conducting important research, the captain replied. The future of our species may depend on it. Commander Lox's face showed no emotion. Your experiment is dangerous. The council has ruled that emotions are too unpredictable. They lead to chaos. While this conversation continued, Jin and Haru worked quickly in another part of the ship. Jin connected wires to a small device, while Haru checked the settings on a screen. Will this really work? Jin asked. Haru nodded. If what you told me about Vorn technology is true, then yes. Jin finished the connections. It's ready. Haru looked at him. Jin, about what you asked me earlier. She touched his face gently. Yes, I think what you're feeling is love. And I think I might be feeling it too. Jin's eyes widened. Before he could respond, Min's voice came through the speaker. They're preparing to use the reset device. It's now or never. Jin pressed a button, and their own signal beamed toward the enforcement vessel. It wasn't a reset device. It was something new, created from Haru's knowledge of human emotions and Jin's understanding of Vorn technology. On the bridge, everyone watched the screen. Commander Locke suddenly stopped speaking. His face changed. His eyes widened. For the first time in his life, he was feeling true emotions. What is happening to me? He whispered. The captain leaned forward. We're sharing our discovery with you, Commander. Not by force, but as a gift. Feel it. Remember what we once were. Back in the control room, Jin and Haru watched the readings on their device. It's working, Jin said in wonder. It's actually working. Haru smiled. Sometimes the best way to win isn't to fight. It's to share. 3 days had passed since the encounter with the enforcement vessel. Something unexpected had happened. Instead of arresting them, Commander Lox and his crew had joined them. Now 2 ships traveled together toward Colony 7. On the bridge of the main ship, Jin stood with Haru as they approached the colony. It looked like a silver ring floating in space, with lights blinking along its edges. "Will they welcome us?" Haru asked. Jin touched her hand gently. "I don't know. The scientists at Colony 7 have been away from Vorn Prime for many years. They may be more open to change." The captain turned to them. "We're receiving a message from the colony." A face appeared on the large screen. It belonged to an older Vorn woman with wise eyes. "This is Director Nim of Colony 7, she said. "Captain Tech, we've heard reports from Vorn Prime. They say you have rebelled against the Council." The captain stepped forward. "Director Nim, we have made a discovery that could save our species. We ask for sanctuary while we share our findings." Director Nim looked curious. "What kind of discovery?" The captain turned to Haru. "This is Haru. She is a human from Earth. She has helped us remember something we lost long ago: our ability to feel." Director Nim studied Haru with interest. "A human. We have observed Earth from a distance, but never made contact." She paused. "Very well. You may dock. I will meet with you and this human." An hour later, Haru, Jin, and the captain sat in a meeting room with Director Nim and 5 senior scientists from the colony. Haru explained how she had helped the Vorn rediscover emotions. "Interesting," Director Nim said when Haru finished. "But the Council believes emotions are dangerous. They lead to conflict and chaos." With respect, Jin said, "That view is outdated. Yes, strong emotions can be dangerous if not managed well. But they also give us purpose, connection, and desire to live. Without them, our population continues to shrink." Director Nim turned to one of her scientists. "What do our records show about birth rates?" The scientist checked her screen. "They have fallen 82% in the past century. At current rates, our species will face extinction within 15 generations." Director Nim looked troubled. "And your solution is to bring back emotions?" "Not wildly, like in our ancient past," Jin explained, "but in balance with our logical minds. We believe it is possible to feel deeply while still making wise choices." Haru nodded. "Humans once had the opposite problem. We felt too much and thought too little. But we've learned to balance emotion and reason. You can too." Director Nim considered this. "How would you propose to share emotions with our people?" Jin explained the device they had created, a way to stimulate the emotional centers of Vorn brains that had been suppressed for thousands of years. "It doesn't force emotions on anyone," he emphasized. "It simply opens the pathways that were closed. Each Vorn must then learn to feel on their own." Director Nim sat quietly for a long moment. Then she stood up. "I would like to experience this device myself before making any decision." Jin looked surprised but nodded. Later, in a private room, Director Nim sat calmly as Jin prepared the device. Haru stood nearby, watching. "Are you sure about this?" Jin asked the director. Director Nim nodded. "A leader should not ask others to do what she would not do herself." Jin activated the device. Director Nim closed her eyes as the gentle signal reached her brain. For several minutes, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly, her face changed. A single tear rolled down her cheek. When she opened her eyes, they were filled with wonder. "I remember," she whispered. "I remember feeling joy when I saw my first star up close. I remember the pain when my research partner died. I have forgotten so much." She turned to Haru. "Thank you for bringing this gift to us." That evening, as news spread through the colony, many Vorn came forward wanting to try the device. Jin, Su, and Min worked together to help them process their new feelings. Haru stood at a window, looking out at the stars. Jin found her there. "Are you okay?" he asked. Haru smiled. "Yes, just thinking about home." Jin's face showed concern. "You miss Earth." "I do," Haru admitted. "But what we're doing here is important." Jin took her hand. Haru, I have been thinking. Perhaps there is a way for both our peoples to benefit from this. He had come. What do you mean? What if we didn't keep ourselves hidden from humans anymore? What if we offered an exchange of knowledge and culture? We could learn from each other. Haru looked surprised. First contact. That's a big step, Jin. Yes, he agreed. But perhaps it is time. The Vorn have watched Earth for centuries, never revealing ourselves. But now, thanks to you, we are changing. Maybe our relationship with humans should change too. Haru thought about what this would mean for Earth. To learn they were not alone in the universe, it would change everything. It would need to be done carefully, she said. But yes, I think it could be wonderful. Jin's eyes were bright with hope, an emotion he now embraced fully. Then let's bring our worlds together, just as you and I have come together. On the other side of the colony, Director Nim made an important call. She would not report the rebels to the council. Instead, she would support their mission. The time for Chang. 2 weeks later, Colony 7 was transformed. The Vorn there had embraced the emotional awakening. Laughter could be heard in the hallways. Music played in common areas. Couples walked hand in hand. Jin and Haru stood in Director Nim's office with the captain, planning their next steps. The council has sent 3 more enforcement vessels. Director Nim reported. They will reach us in 10 days. The captain looked worried. We cannot use our emotional device on so many ships at once. Then we must find another way, Jin said. He turned to a large screen showing Earth. I believe it is time to contact humans officially. Director Nim looked uncertain. Are they ready for us? Human history shows they fear what they don't understand. Haru stepped forward. Some will be afraid, yes. But many will welcome you. Humans have dreamed of meeting beings from other worlds for centuries. How would we begin? The captain asked. We should contact world leaders first, Haru suggested. Explain who you are and why you're here. Show them you come in peace. Jin nodded. And we should explain the situation with our council. Earth might offer protection while we resolve our internal conflict. Director Nim considered this. A bold move, but perhaps necessary. She turned to Haru. Will you help us craft this message? You understand your people better than we do. Haru agreed. For the next few days, she worked with Jin and the others to create a message that would introduce the Vorn to humanity without causing panic. On the day they planned to send the message, Jin took Haru to a special place on the colony, a garden filled with plants from many worlds, including some from Earth. This is beautiful, Haru said, touching a flower that looked like a rose but glowed softly blue. Jin seemed nervous. Haru, before we contact Earth, I need to ask you something important. What is it? When humans and Vorn meet officially, our worlds will change forever. There will be much work to do. Teaching, learning, building trust. He took her hands in his. I want us to do this work together. Haru smiled. Of course we will. No, Jin struggled to find the right words. In human customs, when 2 people wish to form a permanent bond, they have a ceremony. A wedding. Haru's eyes widened. Jin, are you proposing to me? Yes, he said simply. I love you, Haru. I want us to be together always, as we help our peoples come together. Tears filled Haru's eyes. But we're so different. Would it even work? We are different in body, yes, Jin agreed. But in heart, we have found something the same. He touched her cheek gently. Is that not what matters most? Before Haru could answer, an alarm sounded. They'd rushed to the control room, where Director Nim and the captain were watching the main screen with shocked faces. What's happening? Jin asked. A message from Vorn Prime, the captain said. The High Council leader is dead. How? Director Nim asked. Natural causes, the captain read from the screen. And the new leader is Kel. Jin gasped. Kel, the head of biological research. You know him? Haru asked. Yes, Jin said. his voice filled with hope. Kel was my teacher. He always questioned our emotionless path, though quietly. He believed our species was making a mistake. The message continued to scroll across the screen. The new council leader was calling all Vorn to return home for an important announcement. He wants us to come back, the captain said, looking confused. Not as criminals, but as honored guests. Director Nim looked at Jin. Can we trust this? 1 year later, Haru stood nervously in a small room on Earth. She wore a beautiful white dress that her mother had helped her choose. Today was her wedding day. Are you ready? Asked Sue, who had become one of Haru's closest friends. Sue wore a blue dress that matched the other bridesmaids. I think so, Haru said, taking a deep breath. How does everything look outside? Perfect, Sue assured her. Though some of your relatives still stare at us when they think we aren't looking. Haru laughed. They'll get used to you. It's not every day humans meet aliens. The past year had been busy and sometimes difficult. After returning to Earth, Haru had helped introduce the Vorn to human leaders. There had been fear and suspicion at first. Some people thought the aliens wanted to take over Earth. Others believed they were lying about their peaceful intentions. But slowly, trust had grown. The Vorn shared some of their technology, clean energy sources, better medical tools, faster transportation. In return, humans shared their art, music, and emotional wisdom. Now, in a garden by the ocean, the first official wedding between a human and a Vorn was about to take place. Important people from both worlds had come to watch. News cameras would broadcast the ceremony globally. It's time, said Min, entering the room. She had been helping coordinate between Vorn and human wedding traditions. Haru followed Min and Sue outside to the garden. Rows of chairs were filled with guests, humans on one side, Vorn on the other. At the front stood Jin, looking handsome in formal Vorn robes that had been modified to include a human-style tie. As music played, Haru walked slowly down the aisle. Her father, who had taken months to accept Jin, proudly held her arm. When she reached Jin, he took her hands. His eyes were filled with love, an emotion that now came naturally to him after a year of practice. Today, said the human official who would perform the ceremony, we celebrate not just the union of two people, but the coming together of two worlds. Kel, who stood as Jin's best man, nodded in agreement. Under his leadership, the Vorn had changed dramatically. The emotional awakening had spread throughout their society. Birth rates were rising. Art and music were flourishing again. After the vows were exchanged and Haru and Jin were pronounced married, the celebration began. Humans and Vorn mingled, sharing food, drinks, and conversation. Some brave humans even tried Vorn dances, while Vorn sampled Earth desserts with delight. Jin found Haru sitting at a table, watching it all with happiness. Are you happy, wife? He asked, still getting used to the human term. Very, she said, smiling at him. Are you husband? More than I ever imagined possible, Jin replied. I once thought emotions were dangerous. Now I know they are the most precious gift in the universe. Haru leaned her head on his shoulder. What happens next? The council has approved our new exchange program, Jin said. 100 humans will visit Vorn Prime next month. 100 Vorn will come to live on Earth. Will it work? Haru wondered. Our species are so different. We are different, Jin agreed. But we both have hearts that can love, minds that can learn, and spirits that seek connection. That is enough. Later that evening, as the party continued, Haru and Jin slipped away to a quiet spot on the beach. The moon shone on the water, creating a path of silver light. I never expected any of this, Haru said, looking up at the stars. When I was taken from Earth, I was just a normal person living a normal life. You were never normal, Jin said softly. You had the courage to help an alien race find its heart again. You changed the course of two worlds. Haru smiled at him. We did it together. Jin pointed to a bright star in the sky. That's where Vorn Prime is. Our two worlds, once separate, now forever connected. Just like us, Haru said. As they returned to the party, they saw something wonderful. A young Vorn child was teaching a human child a game, while their parents watched with smiles. Nearby, human scientists talked excitedly with Vorn engineers about a new project. The captain and director Nim were deep in conversation with Earth's leaders about expanding cooperation. Look at all of this, Jin said, his voice filled with wonder. And to think it all started because of one experiment. Your final experiment, Haru reminded him. And our first love, Jin finished, taking her hand as night fell. More stars appeared in the sky. Somewhere up there, Vorn ships and human spacecraft were meeting in peace for the first time. New friendships were forming. New ideas were being shared. Two different species had found a way to help each other. The Vorn had remembered how to feel. Humans had gained new knowledge, and the certainty that they were not alone.